Welcome, everybody. I am Kurt Roskoff. We're out here with our YouTube audience and all of our social media streams. We're here for your Revolutionize Your Marketing show. I'm with the World of Ability Podcast Network, and we are pleased, proud, and privileged to have this show because it is very important to get into marketing and figure out how marketing can really apply to all parts of your life. It's not just business, but we mostly talk about the business application of marketing in an amazing way that gives us the name of the show. Revolutionize Your Marketing, brought to you by Mill City Marketing MA. And we have our host, John Petro Sr., coming on in here. He's going to introduce a little bit more of the show, and then we're ready to bring on the guest as soon as John is. John, take it away. This is your Mill City Marketing MA show of Revolutionize Your Marketing. Take it away, John.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We have a special guest tonight. Another one of my guests from Alignable. Alignable is the platform to be on if you have a business. Let's welcome Kat Markel. Did I
Hi.
pronounce that right?
Markle, actually, if it is close enough.
Markel.
Kind of like, Princess Markle.
There you go.
But
And
yeah, Megan, that's her name. Meghan Markle. Yeah.
any relations?
No, but I'd hope there would have been like an invite if there was, but it's okay.
All right. So why don't we start off? Let people know who you are, where you're from, and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, well, as John so nicely mentioned, my name is Kat, and I'm from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, which is kind of sandwiched between Philadelphia and New York. Great little area to do everything I've ever wanted to do. So that's where I'm at. And I've got here. It's been a great journey. Getting to where I'm at, where I'm my own business owner. I've been so blessed to have been able to really just kind of work my way into different things and try different things, and eventually it all kind of came together, and I was able to with the support of my husband just kind of go out on my own. I played the corporate world for a while. That was just exhausting. I tried small business and nonprofit, and I just kind of learned all the way through. um, and then after my kids got a little, I took some time off, with my kids, had to do the mom thing. And when I went back to corporate, I couldn't handle it anymore. It was just so bogged down with committees and just like paperwork. And I couldn't get anything done, anything accomplished. And I really hated it. And I realized that I could do so much better and just enjoy what I'm doing if I went on my own. So that's my story in a quick little nutshell.
And what is it that you do now?
Well, really, what I do is I help coaches and small business owners get their business running smoothly with branding and website and automation and marketing. Make sure they're all working together. It's like a big old all-in-one platform. A lot of my clients, they come to me, they're really overwhelmed. They've got pieces of their business kind of all over the place, and nothing's really working well. And they're really just exhausted from like all that back end work. So I really just try to take all that off their plate, make it nice and neat for them, and that way they can really focus on what they do best, which is helping their clients. So
Sounds like fun. It's basically the same ideas what I do. I do the marketing on social media, and now I do 30-second video commercials on live stream TV, which a lot of marketers haven't gotten into yet, which gives me a little bit of an advantage. And
yeah, it's
and
great to get in those new markets, those new products, and just kind of plant your flag, kind of
yeah,
and own it. A lot of small business owners out there, they don't even know what they want to do. They're kind of like throwing darts, like, oh, let
yeah,
me try some social media. Maybe I'll boost my post for, $20. Oh, maybe I should make a blog post, or hey, let me try a podcast, or they have no idea. They're just kind of all over. So
yeah.
yeah, having, someone who can really guide them through and say, hey, let me work on your commercials. Let me show you how this is going to work, and show them how it can really fit into their whole strategy because it's not just social media or commercials or any of that. It's all together. You know, they have to have that full content strategy, that full marketing strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I changed the name on my website to Mill City Business Help. Because probably you, like you have a lot of connections on Alignable now. And if there's something the business needs I can't help them with, I got plenty of people to send them to,
There you
like you.
go. You know, I love Alignable for that very reason. The connections, and it's just so personable, and you get to make those real good connections that you don't maybe get to do on other platforms, you know. So you really get some to know the people. So when I refer or recommend somebody, it's not just
Yeah,
like, well, I don't know, I'm kind of connected to them, I've never met them. Alignable lets you really get to know the people. So when I say, hey, you need to go to John, I'm telling you, you need to go to John because I know John's a good guy and he's going to take care of you.
yeah, yeah. And like most businesses out there aren't even aware of Alignable.
Yeah, I was so shocked when I got invited. Like, someone I didn't even know was on Facebook looking like, "Do you want to go on this new platform or this platform?" So, you know, this. I'm like, "Sure, why not? Whatever." Never spoken to her since, mind you. But once I got there, I had thought it was new. I thought it was like something a new startup or something, only to
Yeah,
find out that it's been around for a long time, and it really can be a difference maker for businesses. You know, those who really want to
yeah,
make connections and rather than this that coldness of LinkedIn. Not that there's anything wrong, but you know, LinkedIn's all spam and like messages, and cold people, you know, cold outreach, and it's just like too much. And you know, Lineable, it really allows that actual connections to happen and actual networking to happen.
yeah. Like I've been on Alignable about a year and a half. I got introduced to it by my daughter, believe it or not.
Awesome.
It's kind of
That's
unusual.
awesome.
And yeah, she's listed on Alignable. But um yeah, December I became an ambassador for the simple reason the contest that they run every year. Last year I won my town with only 9 votes.
Yeah.
And when I looked up my town on Alignable, there was over 600 businesses just for my
Yeah.
town alone. So that told me that a lot of them are not active on Alignable. So I became an ambassador in December and 14 weeks, brand new alliance. I've got it built up to 120 people.
Yeah, it's that's great. I mean,
Now
it is
it's,
sad. Like businesses, if you don't, it may be a little scary and they don't always know how to use it.
yeah,
So, you know, they jump on and then they don't get involved. But when they do, it's amazing. So here we go. We already had the Lineable Business of the Year contest, right? And I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to win this year, as you, I think, had as also. And
yeah,
so I live in a pretty populated area, right? Between New York and Philly, a lot of people, a lot of towns, a lot of businesses. And we've
yeah,
got some great alliances in the area. And the alliances, all, not all the alliances, but a good chunk of the alliances in the Eastern PA region, you know, came together and we hosted this great celebration event. There was like a networking event and celebrations and just all this fun. And, you know, it was great because over 150 people from a line of kind of showed up and we got to all meet each other if we hadn't already met each other. And that's what it's all about, seeing these businesses connect together, you know. And this
yeah,
was, you know, from all over, from like Allentown down through Philly and maybe out a little west. But it was great, you know, and it was fun. And that I think that just it shows you the power of alignable and when it's being harnessed and when someone like you steps up to the plate and says, hey, it's not being used, you're not let me help you. I mean, you're making a difference, you really are making a difference when you do that. And you can see 150 people just showed up for one night of, I don't know, just networking and celebrating. It
yeah.
was great.
It's like the one I just had my in person for this month. What, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I had 17 people show up, and 19 of them were brand new. Some of them have never been to an in person event before, and brand new on Alignable,
You know, and or I'm
and they're
not,
loving
you
it.
know, I'm not in the sticks, you know. So we have a lot of networking groups out there. locally and maybe a little bit more regionally. And they all have their events and all that. But I really find that Alignable, you know, between their in-person events, and there's so many places you can, your alliance, like you can kind of spread out a little bit depending on where you are. So many alliances you can go to their different meetings and get connected, but then online. And it's really amazing how you can really grow your network. I look at my own business and where I started, I joined knowing no one, obviously. And then I kind of started doing what you're supposed to do. I joined a few Smart Connects, right? Joined a few groups. And as I did that, I kind of got, found some people, kind of got connected to some group here. And
Yeah.
looking back now at everything, all my business for the last couple of years, it's amazing how I can track like 85, 90% of my business has come from Alignable. And so much of that, because of referrals and recommendations and all that, can really be stemmed back to that one group,
Yeah.
and it just grew and grew from there. And I think that's what you don't always get from, other networking groups, other platforms. And Alignable, when you get these new people in, you can show them the power of referrals and networking. And like I said, so much of my business is just from people from Alignable who I've met, or people have, through Smart Connects and different networking events, or just people who've worked with me or know me now. And they're kind of like, oh, you got to go call Kat. You got to call Kat, and it's the beauty of Alignable. It really is.
Yeah. I've met a few people on Alignable. I've got referral links hooked up with, um, and a couple um, I'm actually partnering with to work on projects. Brand new one today. The guy's got a tech program. He just spent four. He's been back home for 2 weeks. He's spent 4 months, I believe he said, in Australia, I think it was. And this program skyrocketed out there. Now he's bringing it back, brand new program in the US. There's nothing like it. It's a app that businesses can put out, like a little
Okay.
card, and it's an app for your phone. It's secured through either Apple or Google, whichever the case may be that you have on your phone. It alerts you as you go by the store that it's programmed in with if they have a special that day.
Ooh,
It'll
I
give
like
you a
that.
notice on your phone like, "Hey, we got 20% off today. Come drop in."
Yeah, that's great because that would be so much fun. Like going shopping and oh, stop in here, sale now. I don't have to
And
guess,
and then on your phone you would get the coupon
Yeah.
that they can just scan. And he's I'm going to hook up with I'm partnering with him on getting the word out there about it.
That's
I just
great.
talked to him today. I have another meeting with him next Friday. Go more into detail. He's supposed to be sending me his presentation that he was showing me part of. He's actually going to send it to me so I can take my time and go through it. We only had a half an hour, which wasn't much time, but yeah, I'm going to put some programs together with him. There's a couple of other people I'm working on projects with. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that the collaboration that you can get done, get working with.
yeah,
I'm working on with someone who does mind mapping and mind spotting. Never heard of it before. It's this really wonderful therapy that kind of helps unclog your brain, kind of. I don't want to get too much, I don't want to mess it up and say wrong things. But, I've met this woman and I actually, she asked, could you do a free, would you sit in with this? And sure, I'll try anything once, right? And I was amazed at how well it worked. And I said, you know what? We need to work together. And so we're going to be putting on a thing soon. Where she's going to help business owners who aren't quite sure of their niche, aren't quite sure what they're trying to do. She's going to help them get unclogged and kind of work a few angles with them. And then I'm going to show them how to turn all that into a beautiful brand. And that's the kind of collaborations you can get. Who knew, right? Who knew?
yeah,
But there's
yeah.
so many people out there that are just, let's work together. I
It's like
love that.
I wasn't expecting to do a podcast at this time, but I fell into the podcast from working with a lady down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So you
I mean,
never know where something is going to lead to, either from the person you meet or somebody that they know that they refer you to.
and
And
that's
that's
what when
why,
I talk to new clients and, if they're not already on Lineable, which like no, everyone is, but
yeah,
if they're not, I'm talking to them about buying at Lineable. I'm like, you go to these smart connects and like, yeah, you don't know who you're going to meet in there. And your ideal client probably won't be in there. I mean, maybe they will. That's great when that happens, right? And it all
yeah,
clicks. But lots of times it's not going to work that way, but it's who they know. It's like all these lateral connections. And that's where you really want to, get in. I mean, it's great if you can walk into a networking thing and meet someone and go, oh, perfect. Let's work together. And and they sign the contract and life goes on. But
yeah.
that's, it's
Prime
more
example,
networking.
prime example of that is right up here in my own alliance. My first alliance was in January. Um, One lady, I actually have her card right here. Her office is around the corner from where I am, and I met her on Alignable, but she didn't really spend any time on Alignable. Her and her boss had a in person that they put together on their own for local businesses. I was the only one that showed up, so I talked. I invited them to my first in person. Her and another gentleman that showed up both kind of work with businesses financially, but in different ways. She helps businesses straighten out their finances and find extra money that they don't know that they have. And he helps businesses set up an exit plan.
Perfect.
So they got together, they're working together,
Yeah.
and they actually put a presentation on in my in person a week and a half ago. And it was fabulous.
And that's the beauty of the connections and how marketing really, can be done differently.
Yeah.
And I think the right way. When you making these connections and it's the referrals and the all that and then the collaborations again you're able to connect with people that you can help, they can help you, and you guys can put together like a really interesting package for people, and helps everybody, it helps you, helps them, it's beautiful. And that I think a lot of people I think are missing that component in their marketing. Like I said, they kind of like throw things at the dartboard, you just, oh, I'll try this and they try that. But they if they would kind of sit and look at a whole strategy, um, I think, yes, that's important. Social media, awesome. Very, very important. And sure, you want to do some Google ads. Awesome. That's important. Blogs, having content marketing, that's important.
Yeah.
But a really key piece of marketing is networking and is collaborating. And it can be a total game changer. It kind of supports all that other stuff you're doing.
Yeah. It really doesn't take long to make connections out there either.
No.
Um, I mean, take the smart connects that Alignable has. You can meet up to 8 people in a half an hour. Maybe it's
Yeah.
only 7 minutes apiece, but it's enough time to get to know somebody a little bit better and even set up an appointment to meet, either in person if they're local or on a Zoom call.
Yeah, there's the smart connects. They're like speed dating, like speed networking. I
Yeah.
7 minutes to get to know each other, and then next, and sometimes there you meet great people, and it's a connection right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes not, but that's okay. I mean,
I
but again, it's so much fun. It's like speed dating, for networking.
I have one problem with the smart connects. I talk too much. Too many times I take up almost whole 7 minutes.
Oh.
But people sit there and they listen and they're interested in what I'm saying.
Well,
I
that's the
mean,
beauty. Like, someone like you, it's new. that,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And, not only you're doing the podcasting, but then you have that whole new platform you're working on with the commercials. And that's interesting. That's new. And you're seeing, you get to meet people like you who have amazing things like that, who are really innovative and jumping on these new products. And
Yeah.
yeah, when you get someone who's really interesting, you want to talk. Let's talk, talk, talk. Let me know more about you.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like I've been noticing too. I've been watching the last week and a half when I mentioning about what I do. I say, okay, yeah, I do ads on all social media platforms, and they're like, yeah, okay. As soon as I mentioned about the 30-second video commercials, bam, I got their attention.
Yeah.
So that's my new lead.
Well, again, social media has been there and done that, and it's still a
Yeah,
valid thing and it's still important, but you have to constantly go with the trends with social media, know the algorithms, and it's
yeah,
complicated. It's not as simple as putting up a post, right? Like it's just not that
yeah,
simple. But so people hear about it, oh yeah, more social media. They get a little tired of it. Something like what you do with the commercials, so new, so out there, and it's so affordable. Like you make it real,
yeah,
real for regular people. Like I don't have to be this big company to have a commercial, it's just me.
yeah.
I can have a commercial and it's brilliant.
And the difference with doing that is, yeah, they get to actually see somebody talking about the service or the product, whatever it might be. And the best part is doing a Facebook ad. Facebook ads cost over $1, me even close to $2 now for just for a click.
Yeah.
I checked it again yesterday. I went onto the Disney platform. The minimum amount they have is $500. I just put an ad in. I didn't put it out.
Right.
I just put all the information in, kept it local because I can niche down to a certain area or a certain type of person, and I put it in there, $500 for the month, but you can still put a time frame on it.
Yeah.
So I put in 2 weeks. For $500, I would have had over 12,000 views.
Yeah.
And if you take 30% of that, of people that would actually click and check into it more, and then 5% of that 30% would end up being probably a customer for
Yeah. So
$500.
$500 for one customer. And that's
Yeah,
not necessarily a bad return on investment, depending on the cost of your actual product.
yeah,
Um, and I think
exactly.
I've worked with people who, oh, well, what about Facebook ads? Should we do that? Should we boost a post? Can we do it for like, I don't know, $20, $50? And I'm like, no, 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 no. What you think, they make it sound like it's so cheap for newbies who don't know. But when they
Yeah,
really find out, to have that kind of reach, we use like 12,000 people viewing it, so 12,000 people view it, and then a small percent actually pay attention to it, smaller percent actually click on it, and then you get like the one client out of that. And that's costing $500. And that's what it really takes to do it, and to
yeah,
do it right. And one thing I love that you mentioned, it makes me laugh. Sadly, I'm also a photographer and I've done a lot of photography and I've done advertising for photography, right? Easy.
yeah,
And during certain times of the year, spring and Christmas, you start seeing different like photographers advertising, their mini sessions. And I'll look at it and like, oh, a mini session. Let me see where they're at. You know, I'm in
yeah,
Pennsylvania, and the mini session will be advertised for like someone in Washington or California or wherever. And I feel bad because they're absolutely wasting their money because they don't know how to do it right. And that's where
yeah,
like I'll actually message them, hey, you didn't click on your area. So now people who are definitely not going to go to California for a mini session, for a photo session for 15 minutes. I'm seeing this. I shouldn't see it. You're wasting your money. And
yeah,
and that's what I just wish that's the one thing I could say for small business owners when they're thinking about doing ads on Facebook or thinking about boosting their posts, just reach out to someone first. Make sure
yeah,
you get all your little boxes checked because it's complicated. It's not as simple as they look. And again, to do it right, it's really going to cost money.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of businesses don't know what's available out there for
Right.
marketing. They just know basic details about Facebook and maybe Instagram, maybe not even that.
Right.
And they just don't know all the options that are out there.
Yeah.
Like the 30-second video commercials on live stream. I didn't know it was out there until I saw an ad once. I saw the ad once. I almost didn't apply to it because I said, well, Disney's a big company. Why would they be looking for people?
Yeah.
They do ads themselves. But something in the back of my head said, no, fill it out. You don't know what it's about. Fill it out and find out. I thought it was a scam or something, but I filled it out. 2 weeks later, I got an email from Disney giving me access to their platform.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks after I got Disney, I got an email, another ad, an email from Paramount offering me their platform.
That's
So
awesome.
I don't know if they're monitoring what Disney does to trying to keep up with them, but hey, I got the access to them, and
Yeah, and it's a great
anybody
product
wants
to
them,
to put, to offer to your clients, something in addition to Facebook, because it's
yeah,
everyone's Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. That's how you advertise, right? No. There's so many more things. Facebook's good. Try something new. Think outside the box because if everyone is using Facebook, right? Everyone's like trying to do the Facebook ads or has a Facebook page or a Facebook group, and it kind of gets really bogged down. Like it's constant noise on Facebook. I hardly ever
yeah,
see my friends post anymore because everything's sponsored and so much junk. But when you think outside the box as a company, so many more things are open, and then you really start standing out differently.
yeah,
Someone who's, I don't know, an accountant or anybody, any kind of field. They put a commercial on anything they can do, virtually. You put a commercial out, like you said, a 30-second commercial out on a Disney Channel or on Paramount streaming or whatever. People are going to start seeing that. You're a crafter or you make art or whatever, people are going to see that.
yeah,
And now you're standing out where everybody else is lost in the crowd. And I think it's great when people open their eyes up and see these new options that are out there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just, and there's even options that I haven't even found yet.
Uh,
I'm sure.
you know, that's what I love about marketing. I honestly, one of my favorite things, and I think it's always drawn me to marketing, is trying to do things different and outside the box. Technically they kind of call it like guerrilla marketing, where you just kind of show up places and flash mobs and things like that, which very cool. Doesn't always work for everybody, depending what you're doing. But it's that kind of thinking, like, what can you do different? you know everybody's doing this, how can I do something different? And there's just, if you just take a few minutes to really kind of actually go ahead and use AI right now. People are talking about
Yeah,
AI all the time. Ask it, type into chat GTP, what are some different marketing avenues, sort of out of the box things I can do, and then that's where you're really going to see things, and it could be sometimes as simple if you have a lot of local, you're kind of a local business. Start getting involved locally, sponsor, an event or something, or the little kid, little
yeah,
league, or, there's different charity things. Put a basket out there or a gift card out there for a drawing. That's how, you sort of make an impact on, locally. You want
yeah,
to find something different, more broad for like the outside, the internet and the world. Think of different things. How can you do that? Talk to GPT. That'll help you out.
yeah. One of the things I'm doing with one of the people I'm working with that I have an affiliate link for, um, she puts a lot of time into writing music, and she's been nominated for quite a few awards for writing songs. And she is a musician. Um, but as she was traveling around different countries, she was picking up recipes, and she has an e-cookbook. It's 160 pages.
Oh, wow.
She's got some little comedy stories in there too. That
Well, yeah.
she writes a little bit of comedy. She's even attached a couple of her songs. And one of the things I'm going to work on with her is Lowell, right next door to me here, the city I grew up in, they have what's known as the largest free folk festival in the country.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
The city's been doing it for 17 years now. There used to be a national folk festival committee that used to go around every year, take a different city and host that event. When it came to Lowell, there's so much diversity in Lowell with nationalities. They had such a big turnout, they stayed for 3 years. And
That's
after the three
awesome.
years, the city's picked it up and they've been doing it. They almost canceled it for this year, um, because of the money that it costs them. And
Yeah.
the national parks in the city have been cut down. But they said, hey, even if we don't have the help of the national parks, the show must go on, as they said.
Ugh.
They block off the downtown area for 3 days. The streets are lined with tents with either food, all different ethnic foods, or crafts,
Yeah.
different countries, things like that. They have like 6 or 7 stages set up throughout the downtown area with all ethnic music that they do. So one of the things I told her I'm going to do, I work one of the food tents for my youngest one's the school she went to up until last year
Okay.
was a Greek school. So I worked with on PTO with their food tent, and I told them, "Look, I have such a good time. Let me know the details. I'll keep coming to help you out with this and the other big event that they do." And I'm going to ask them permission. I took the affiliate link that she gave me, hooked it up with a QR code. So if I get there okay to put a sign on the table, since her cookbook has Greek recipes in it too, um, I'll do up an ad, a 1 sheet ad, put it in one of those plastic containers, put the QR code on there. People coming up can scan the QR code and go order her cookbook.
That's yeah, and that's great. I think that's it's that little stuff. The QR codes came back. Like they were out a while ago. Like they've been
Yeah,
around for a really long time, but everyone was like, what? And it wasn't until, 2020 and all that mess that we kind of really started using them again. But now it's kind of like, yeah, put a QR code on it. Why not? That's how people, it's easy now. It's easy. It's easy. And that's great because you can say, link it to her recipe book, which is an amazing collection of all these, places she's been with her music. So it's like a
yeah,
beautiful tie-in between, her food, the cultural food, and her music. And all it takes is putting a sign out there at an event like that. You know, beautiful.
yeah. She was excited when I mentioned it to her. She goes, "Yeah, that would be awesome." I said, "It's
Yeah.
only 3 days, but you never know.
Yeah,
It's a
but
very, very busy place."
yeah, events like that, we've got a few, in this area that are pretty big, and I think Lowell probably it's the National Folk Festival, right? So that's probably even
Um,
bigger.
well, it's a local folk festival
It's
now, but
local at this point, but
it's
still.
known as the largest free folk festival in the
Okay.
country.
So yeah, it's got to
So
be,
yeah,
a couple thousand people. I mean, I'm sure a lot more than that. I know some of the festivals around here, 3 days like that, 10,000 people, easy, you know?
yeah.
Now, not
Well,
everybody's going to go to that tent and not everybody's going to eat, at that the PTO tent, but maybe 1,000 will, or people walking by. Boom.
well, we had quite a few more than that because last year, in the 2.5 days, they made $36,000.
Wonderful. That's the PTO. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's awesome. And again, all it's going to take is a sign there, and people, while they're waiting in line, look at it. Huh. Like, let me see what this is all about. Because you're
Yeah.
waiting in line, you're bored anyway, right?
By the end of it on Sunday, they're actually starting to run out of food.
Oh,
But I enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, I've seen pretty much every angle of that folk festival. When it first started out, I was working with the police department on the auxiliary police. So I was working the details there. Then I was working for the local newspaper, so I was working the tent that they had. Then I took a couple of years off and decided to enjoy it. So I got the spectator aspect of it. Now I'm back working at a food tent.
Right. I love that you're so involved with that though, because again, that's talking about,
Yeah,
being a business person involved in your community, right? So you're involved in the school, which is huge. You're involved in these different events, this community event, and that's just a great way, to A, give back to your community, but B, get a little recognition for your company, business.
yeah,
Like, do it. It's the actually, if you're a local business and you've got local clients and local customers, that is the number one way to really get recognized. You're
yeah,
out there, you're shaking hands, you're involved. People go, "Oh, I know you." Oh, it works. And people like to help people who are local. They like to help people who are already helping in the community. Just that's my best advice. If you have a local audience, a local clientele, get involved.
yeah. It's just like people coming into Alignable that are brand new. I check out their Alignable page. I'm saying, hey, take it from experience. You need to put more on your page. Last week is a prime example. Um, somebody that's on Alignable looked at my page, got so interested. She sent me a message. She works with a magazine. They want to do an article on me.
Perfect.
It's a business magazine that's also attached to a business college down in Florida.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had a one-on-one with her the other day. I had to send her my information, which I got the media package now from the contest. So I took care of that today. Um, she wants me to email her a picture of myself, um, my story, and information about my business and what I do. So then she'll set up an interview with me for the article for the magazine. It also comes with a video of my business on their webpage.
Yep. And all that's because you took the time to really be thoughtful and think about what was on that profile. People kind of just like throw like I don't know, hi, I'm Mary Jo, and
Yeah,
I make videos for YouTube people, something, and they don't take the time to really invest in that profile. That right there, people go on it all of the time. You're constantly being seen on your
yeah,
profile. That is like your storefront, right? You got to have everything you can right there, front and center. Hook people in, have your contact information. Not it's available when people like connect with you, but not
yeah,
everybody's going to do that right away. So put that contact information right in the body of your profile. Like,
yeah,
hey, this is what I do. This is who I am. Get excited and tell them how to reach you. And look, simply by doing that, they're getting free exposure now from a
yeah,
magazine down in Florida who, is going to reach out for how many other people. And it's simply because you had a profile that did its job.
yeah. And I'm not sure exactly what the subscription rate is to the magazine, but the fact is that we talked for half an hour. Not only did we get everything straightened out for that interview, we were talking. I actually signed up as a partner with the magazine and the college. And me and her we're already discussing, I think, 3 different avenues that we want to work on. One of which is including um, putting something together on Alignable to teach about
Yeah.
business,
And that's just
about
another great example that of
how to
not
build up
only
a
that
business.
opportunity to show yourself,
Yeah,
but now the collaboration that came of it and all the things that are going to come from that collaboration, not just your magazine article, but now that partnership that came from
yeah,
Alignable because you filled out a profile.
yeah, exactly. Um, I mean, it's just there's so many people that I've met that have given me ideas. I'm talking to this guy I was talking to today on a one-on-one. Um, I still need to know more details about his program, It sounds like it's going to be awesome when it takes off. But my mind was already, the wheels were already spinning in my mind. How can I help them out? How can I do this? How can I do that? It's just how I am. And I'm a people person on top of it. So,
Helps. Absolutely helps.
yeah. But so it's just, I need to get the word out in this area more to get more people, more businesses in this area involved. I mean, over 600 just my little town alone. And I won last year with 9 votes.
Yeah, and that means people just aren't involved the way they should be.
I wasn't, I was only on Alignable for maybe half a year at that point, but this year was a big difference. Of
Yeah. Once you get to know people,
course, it helps
yeah,
that I have over 1,000 connections now. I woke up
yes.
Friday morning to my last Friday morning to my 1,000th connection.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sitting there.
That is
So
awesome.
came in overnight, and then another thing I keep telling people is if you're on Alignable and you're active on Alignable, look at the numbers that you're doing.
Yeah.
When I started doing that, I went from 5,000 views in a week to over the last 3 weeks, over 10,000 views in a week.
Yeah. And that's your profile views, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's again, it's not so much with Findable about what you post. I mean, that's important and you want to start posting, your knowledge and you want to start engaging and that's all important. But when you do it and you do it right, people are
Yeah.
going to your profile. It's not like the other platforms where they don't really go past, the post. They want to learn about you. Well, who is this? And they go on, they click on your platform, on your profile. And that again, that's why it is so important that you have it well done. 10,000, you said 10,000 views on your profile, right? Boom.
Well, it's actually more than the profile. It's your profile, yeah, but it's your activity on Alignable.
Yeah.
Um, because on the Smart Connects, people are looking at your profile as they're talking to you. They're looking at your website,
Mm-hmm.
looking at your Alignable page, and all of that. It picks it all up,
Yeah.
but it does break it down to each category.
Oh yeah.
How
It
many
has
views
great
you're getting
analytics.
on events? Because being an ambassador, I do an event every month, which has only been 3 months that I've done it. But I've got the alliance built up to 120 people in 14 weeks.
Keep building it. Just keep building it.
Just getting the word out there about it. And a lot of one of the things that it was suggested to me by someone who used to be an ambassador when she was down in Florida. She moved up here to New Hampshire and she's a bookkeeper. And she had a group going on Alignable for bookkeepers. And she does a Smart Connect. They talk about any problems that anybody has with QuickBooks. But if there's no questions, then she does breakout rooms. I pop
Right.
in there supporting her because she's up here. And with her knowledge, she's helping me, giving me suggestions on how to do the events because she was doing them in Florida.
Yeah.
And it helps that 2 weeks after I became an ambassador in December, a guy 2 towns away became an ambassador. But he was already doing a Smart Connect on Thursdays. He wanted to do an in person closer to Maine, closer to Manchester, New Hampshire, but he was having a hard time finding a good spot. So he goes, you know what? I'll just help you out with yours, and I'll just keep doing my Smart Connect. So I keep popping in on his Smart Connects too. We help each
Yeah.
other. I pop into hers, although it's all most of it is on the one that she has is bookkeepers.
Right.
But I still hop on. I make connections
Because
on.
you don't know who you're connecting with, who needs you, or who they know. It's always about
Yeah,
who do they know. And
exactly.
you never know who they know.
So
So I,
those that
I think
support
that's great
me,
that you're
I
working with
support
the
them.
other. Yeah. I just think it's great that you're working with the other ambassadors. That's a great way. Like I said, in where
Yeah.
I'm at, we've got several different alliances and they kind of overlap a little bit. And it's great because
Yeah.
they work together and solidify things. I work with Maria Worth and Debbie Smith and Dr. Karen Fiello and Seth Goldstein. They work so well together.
Yeah.
Just putting on events, helping each other out, and helping all the alliances in this area grow. Because as they grow, it's helping each other, and
Yeah.
it's just so connected. It's great.
As a matter of fact, Seth, talking about Seth, he gave me an idea. He posted on Alignable a certificate that I guess he done up himself,
Mhm.
like a recognition certificate for the contest. I have 31 winners in my alliance.
Beautiful.
What I did when I got the list, of course, I got the list the day after my last one,
Yeah, always.
and I told the other ambassador, "Yeah, watch. I'm having an event tonight. Watch tomorrow. I'll get the list." Well, I got
Yeah.
the list, so I'm
Boom.
going to do mine in at the April one.
Yeah.
And he gave me the idea:
Yeah.
print up these certificates
He
for
did,
these
and I'm
31
glad to
people.
show you mine. It's beautiful. This is the Seth is part of my alliance or one of the alliances I'm in. So yeah, he
Yeah,
was great. This beautiful plaque they gave me, and all the winners in our area. So great
he
idea.
did do it for
So
everyone. That's what I was wondering if he did. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I want to do too for these people.
it
I
makes it, it's just a nice little symbol. And it
Yeah,
was a nice gesture that they recognized us, that are, hey, we're a group, we're celebrating each other. And the
yeah,
people that went to this thing again, it was like 150 people at our party. And I think we had like 35 winners. But so
yeah,
small amount of winners and so many other people just there to celebrate and network and,
yeah.
and have fun.
What I did is I copied Seth's
Yeah.
into Word, and I was just going to change the name and towns because I like the
Hmm.
way it's all set up. It won't let me do it.
Well, probably not in Word, no.
So I got to
But
find
I'm sure if
one.
you reach out to Seth, maybe he'll be glad to send you the actual template or something that you
Yeah,
guys can work on. He's a good guy like that.
yeah. Either that or just find one on Canva or something and
Yeah, that's probably what he
retype it.
did it on.
Probably.
I don't know if he did it or if it was Maria or Debbie. I know they all work really well
Yeah.
together, really hard
But
together.
yeah, he gave
So,
me the idea of that because what I did is as soon as I got the list from Chuck, I went through and I sent each one of them because the list comes with the emails and
yeah,
everything. I sent each one of them an email congratulating them and inviting them to April's event to
yeah,
celebrate their win.
it's great. Yeah,
Uh, oh, within the first week of sending that email out, two of them have signed up on the alliance.
awesome.
So
Absolutely awesome.
that's another way that I'm building it.
It's whatever it takes, and
Yeah,
when people are joining Alignable, what are these alliances? What are these, what are you talking about? And really kind of break that down real fast. Alliances are just like your little group area, like um I belong to the Lehigh Valley Alliance. It's kind of my area, and I belong to the Upper Bucks Montco Alliance. Again, it's a little chunk of the area. They're just little pockets of people, or big
yeah,
pockets, depending on where you're at, that are in the same area that can network together in person. And so when you're building this, you're kind of you're just growing each other. You're helping each other. You're making a stronger group. And like anything else, when the group is really big, really strong, you can really make a difference and impact each other's businesses.
yeah. I was talking to somebody the other day. I forget who it was or where she was, but she was looking for an alliance in her area, and she's in kind of a busy area, so there's quite a few of them. She could only find small ones that aren't even active.
Oh,
Nobody's active doing anything. She was looking for something in person to go to. So I told her,
right.
go onto the Alignable page, go under groups, and just put in your area, and it'll give you a list of all of them in your area. Then you can go on to their pages and check out and see how active they are and
Yeah.
find an active one if you want to get involved with an in-person group.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of them aren't. Some of them are really, really active, and some of them aren't. I would say most of the alliances out there have great ambassadors like yourself,
Yeah.
and are really active and growing and caring about the community of business owners, and really active in trying to just grow their alliance and help each other.
Yeah. So let's see if Kurt has any questions for you. He's
Ooh,
better at coming up with questions because he's been doing it for quite a few years. Here he is. He pops in. Any questions, Kurt?
hello.
Sure, we'll just try to, Kat, I'll just ask a question to kind of help pull this all together. Wow, this video is quite a seminar on marketing and networking and, alignable alliances, thinking outside the box, tips, tricks, and techniques. Marketing is about synergy, pulling it all together, all the efforts you take, the in-person time, customer service is a part of marketing, publicity, promotion, advertising. What would you say is kind of the crux for you? Like, what's your secret sauce in terms of, pulling from Alignable, and there's so many ways you get digital marketing, in person, kind of what is
Right.
your driving force to how to pull it together so that it best resembles you and how you want people to learn about you and find out about
Right. Well, first thing, you got to know who you are, right? You're saying, how is it going to represent me? And I think a lot of businesses maybe miss that step sometimes when it comes to like you have to brand yourself or brand your company. And people go, oh, well, yeah, I've got a logo and I've got some pretty colors. And that's great, right? But that's not necessarily all the brand. The branding really is it's your voice, it's who you are, it's what you represent, what your values are, and who your audience is. So when you figure that stuff out, right, it kind of tells you right there, okay, this is who I am. These are the people I want to talk to. This is how I'm going to, and then from there you can build. Okay, so where are these people going to be? And that's where you choose your social media platforms. I love Instagram, right? I'm on it all the time, but it's not the platform I'm advertising on or really being involved in a business sense. Great for fun, not where I'm at. So you got to figure out where is your audience. For me, it's Alignable and a little bit of Facebook. And even though I'm not a big fan, it's LinkedIn. So it's knowing where you need to be, right? But then also, how does your audience, what are they looking at? Where are they, not just in terms of the platforms, but what are they looking for on those. And that's where you can really start putting things together. So it's a whole strategy of knowing, do they want the quick little video? Sometimes, depending on your business, a quick little reel or a video goes a long way. Other businesses, they kind of want more of a case studies and things like that, and they really kind of get that. It's all about knowing what they want, and finding that this what works for you and works for them. And once you figure that out, once you really sit and analyze that all, and you can kind of put it together. And I think it's important that you have to have multiple things, multiple facets of your marketing. It can't just be this or this. So find everything else. What are they going to be on? How can you communicate with them? Do they like more video things, podcast things, or maybe they like blogs? Find what works for them and then work it, put it all together and make sure it's all integrated, that what you do on Facebook is the same thing that you're doing similar, same style, same concept, same messaging that you're doing on Facebook, you have on your website and that you have, maybe your blog or your podcast. It all has to work together. So when you go out networking, it's all together. You're representing all of that all at once. So when you're out, doing a community event, it's all together. So if someone says, you go to your event and they, oh, it's your Facebook page or whatever. Well, they can see that, hey, that is exactly what she was talking about at that event. It matches. So it's really just knowing who you are and then knowing your audience.
it. There we go. What a way to pull it together. So, John, what do you have for finishing us up here today?
Um, Kat, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Oh, well, we already talked about Alignable, right? So honestly, I'm on Alignable. Pat Markle, find me. But also, no, I've got a great website. A lot of information on there, and you can always just, reach out to me there. It's, patmarklecreatives.com. Everything you need is there. Honestly, that's the best place to find me. It has everything you need, basically. So
All right. And to let people know ahead of time, my guest for next week is Latoya Germain. She's
I know her. She's nice.
she's
Very
another
smart
person
woman.
from Alignable.
Yeah. See, we all know each other.
um, so that's who my guest is next week. So stay tuned next week, folks. And Kat, thank you for coming on. It was
Absolutely my
a
pleasure.
pleasure. And you're welcome back anytime you want.
Well, thank you so much. And for those listening, definitely come back and see Latoya next week. She's amazing. You'll love her.
So that does it for me, Kurt.
All right, John. Thanks for doing the show, Kat. Thanks for being a tremendous guest. You must do some of these podcasts on some regular basis, eh?
Actually, this is my first one.
Really? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're a natural. Either you had beginner's luck or you're a natural because wow. I think of all the shows you've done, John, you've got a great show here, and I'm hearing we're gonna have another one next week. Looks like you're on the upswing, John. Way to go. You're finding some good people on Alignable. There you go.
I'm working on it.
So these shows come off for the first time premiered. The first live is out there at 5 p.m. Eastern, folks, every Friday. So we're your dinner and a show combination out here, on World Ability Podcast Network. This again was your Revolutionize Your Marketing program. That was John Petro Sr. hosting, Kat guesting, and I'm just out here on the production side with World of Ability Podcast Network. So with that, we'll look forward to having you on our other shows here on the network, and for sure next Friday.